Box by Whiteacre Studio. I'm Cynthia. I'm here to help you create this masterpiece, a lucky gnome. And here's the little guy right here that you'll be building to go with your lucky pennies. I grew up with penny loafers, pennies in my shoe, and we're going to be talking a little bit about how using the actual pennies, I think, will bring a little bit more prosperity into your life. And we'll get situated and then we'll talk about that. Here's your box. Inside you have all of your cut wooden pieces for your letters and your gnome. You have the lights that go on it at the very end. You have your paints. You have your pennies. You have a washer that's going to go onto the gnome that is going to mesh with the little teeny tiny magnet that is already on the little hands. So that's done for you. And you have a glue gun. So what I find really exciting about this is that you're starting to build a craft arsenal. You got pliers last month that you can work with wire. Now you have a glue gun. You're really starting to build supplies so that you can branch off and start doing things all on your own. So I'm going to put the box aside and we're going to talk a little bit about the steps that we're going through. We're going to start by painting. So I went ahead and pre-painted some pieces. I painted the base for your lucky. I painted my gnome hands already, and I painted the gnome base. So the only thing that I'll be painting in front of you today is the little gnome himself. And I also painted my letters for the sake of time. And I want to talk a little bit about the copper paint because the copper paint's gorgeous and it's going to be hard for you not to run around your house and paint things copper. It's really, really pretty. All right, there we go. And so once we have painted everything, we will be gluing our base together and then we'll start gluing pennies on. So there's steps to this, but this is something you can do in an afternoon, and I think you're going to love having this lit on a mantelpiece or on a bookshelf somewhere. So I have my paints all together. You're going to be pulling your little pieces out of the box. You're going to want a little bit of water because you're changing colors. I have the sponge for doing sort of detail work on the gnome's beard because you're going to be using, if you choose, a little bit of water to give it some depth. But otherwise, you're straight painting. You're going to use your sponges to paint the big pieces. So you're using your sponge to paint your black. You're using your sponge to paint your green. You can use a sponge to paint your copper. Okay. I am ready to paint this little guy. Gnomes are so in right now. They're everywhere. I've been in love with gnomes for many, many years, long before they were so popular. So this is a keeper right here. And I'm just going to talk about the fact that when he's finished, you're going to love those hands and you're going to be excited to find out you can get more hands for your gnome. So I'm going to start by painting. I'm going to turn him so I can see it. I always like to have a guide. So I'm going to paint his hat red, his nose white. I'm going to paint his feet white, his pants red. And then I'm going to be painting his beard with a mix of black and white to make it a little grisly as opposed to pure black. So I'm going to start with my hat. So I always connected gnomes with Sweden, Scandinavia. They call them totems, I think. Tomtons. They don't call them gnomes. But there was a cartoon on when my kid was little about gnomes. And there's a whole book about the lives of gnomes in the forest, which is a really fun book to look at. So what I'm finding in the stores right now is that you can find a gnome for every season, every holiday. They are eaters, just like hobbits. There we go. So now we've got his little hat. And the other thing I'm painting red, and this is tiny, you have a brush in your box, is you're painting his little tiny legs. And again, if you are a person who's doing this as a project with your family, I would think that painting is something the kids could do. I'm not sure I would hand the glue gun to young kids, but certainly the painting. I'm ready to, I believe, change colors. So I'm making a choice to paint my base black because it's going to be fitting into that, and I'd like it not to be just bare wood. There we go. So that's all I need for that. Oh no, I guess I could do the beard. I think I'll do that last though. So I'm going to do his white nose. And not bad, considering I'm a little nervous and shaky when I paint on the video. It didn't come out bad at all. Okay, so the feet are going to be white, and I'm getting ready to do that black and white mix. Although, if you want your gnome to not be old, he can have a black beard. The key to a gnome is that he's got so much hair, you don't see his eyes. You don't see much. You see his nose. Okay? This little circle in the middle is where you're going to be gluing on your washer. So I'm going to leave it unpainted so that I can see where that's going to go. Your washer is in the bag with your pennies. So you're going to want to watch for that in your bag. And I'm just going to put a little bit of black out on my plate, maybe. There we go. And I'm going to put a little bit of white. And I'm going to mix a little bit. And there's some nice grizzly gray. You can make it as light or dark as you want. So one of the places that I saw gnomes recently, and I thought it was so creative, is that my neighbor created a gnome in her hedge. And I don't know how she did it, but she made a hat and she had the nose. People are really, it's just really taking off. And when I go to my farmer's market, the person who creates the wreaths has created huge wooden gnomes that would go in your yard. And I'm going to say to you, don't buy them from there. Order them from White Acre Studio. And you can have a gnome wherever you want it. So gnomes are a good luck symbol. Ireland, of course, would have the leprechaun. So you are building so much luck into this little piece. And one of the things that I believe in is that like attracts like. So pennies attract the money into your home. You're not just asking for luck, you're giving them something to aim for. That is why you would put money in a wallet before you give it to somebody. I've known that since I was a little kid. You would never give anybody a purse or a wallet without some money in it. And all of the New Age philosophies say what you have will multiply, especially if you're grateful for it. All right, so here's our little gnome. I want to let that dry a tiny bit, but to get it even a little bit more, streaky, I'm so professional. You would use your sponge to put a little water on it and just wash it a little bit. All right, but I need to let mine dry a little bit before I do that. So basically, I have painted everything that I need to paint. So I am going to glue my base together while my gnome is drying, because I need to put a washer on there. So you have pieces with the slots in them for your letters, and then you have pieces that will build to be the actual base. So you have your longest rectangle, and you are going to be gluing an end on either end. They are the rounded pieces. Okay, so I'm looking for my glue. There it is. And we are going to glue this on. There we go. And when you're painting your base, again, I think if you want it to look really matte black, you're going to do more than one coat. So that can be as deep black as you want it to be. And remember, I used a sponge to do that. I didn't use a paintbrush. Save the paintbrush for your tiny things. So basically, this is your base. I'm going to hold it for a second. And then we're going to be gluing the slotted pieces on top. And you have two slotted pieces. One is longer than the other, right? So your short end goes to the right, your right, okay? Just going to line it up so that I can see what I'm doing. Yep, there we go. There's one piece. I had a cousin who used to do the model wooden airplanes, and this reminds me of his glue and his pieces, and I don't know why girls didn't have those, but now we do. We have little pieces like this. So there's your base, and eventually your letters are going to fit into those bases. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. I hope. I don't want to break it before it's dry. And I'm going to glue my washer onto my gnome. So your pennies will be in here. You'll have the exact number of pennies you need for your letters. So when you dump them out, you are going to watch, because it's pretty tiny, you're going to watch for a washer, okay? And if you want to paint that middle, you can, so that when you glue this on, there's no white showing, but I just really wanted to be able to see, for the sake of the video, where it goes, okay? Great. So it is this little tiny magnet that fits in there. I'm not going to put it down because I'm still wet, but fits in there and holds his little hands on. Like that. And this is when I'm going to tell you that those hands can be interchangeable. So this gnome can be something you use every season. The other thing you're going to get in your box is a coupon to get another set of hands with a different sort of fun cutout that the gnome is holding. So you can have everything from your favorite cup of coffee to a dog paw because you're a dog lover, or an ice cream cone, or something seasonal. It's kind of limitless what there is, and you will get a price for ordering others, but you also get a coupon to get another one. So I think that's also really fun. And I like the size of it because you can have that on a little kitchen counter and keep changing that after you're done with your Lucky. You can keep using your gnome. All right. So I think we're to the point now. I'm going to just move these pieces. I have directions that I'm refusing to look at. Am I in the right place? I am in the right place. That is so exciting. Okay. So I pre-glued some pennies onto the letters for the sake of time. I'm going to do 2 of them for you right now. And the suggestion, and it was a good one, was that you lay out your pennies so that you are careful not to have a penny go down onto the slot that has to go into the hole. So I'm going to turn this around. You will have a picture. They will have a picture so that it helps you see the layout of your pennies. And that way I can count how many go on these letters. And my understanding is you have about 52 pennies. So I'm going to lay out my L. And here's the thing that I learned, since I knew we were making this, is that pennies were considered lucky going all the way back to ancient times. Not that they had pennies, but they had metal, and metal was considered valuable and tradable. And so the fact that we consider a penny lucky is based on what it's made of. And I'm sure you've all heard, find a penny, pick it up. All that day you'll have good luck. I always learned that if you saw a penny on the ground, if it was tails up, you should leave it on the ground, but you should flip it over so that the next person had a heads up good luck. So you were passing on good luck and not bringing the penny that has the tails up into your home. So some people going way back considered one side of the coin lucky and one side not lucky. As you know, we do coin tosses for a lot of things, and we call heads or tails. So for me personally, I would have all heads up pennies on my letters, but you can do whatever you want. I also learned, and I'm a fuss budget, so I turn Lincoln's head, upright. But again, you can do anything you want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I also read that in addition to putting a penny in a penny loafer, brides used to put them in their shoe. So you would have something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue, and a penny in my shoe to bring prosperity into your marriage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm short a penny. I feel my luck dwindling even as we speak. Who knows? I've moved this a million times, but you will not. Oh, here comes a penny magically. All right, so you have a glue gun and glue sticks. These are, thank you. Here's the magic penny. These are not fancy schmancy, so I find that when I set it down with the little handle, it does dribble a little bit, so you want to have something on your surface for when that happens. You do not want to touch hot glue. I've touched hot glue many times. It is zero fun. And the other tip I can give you is that it's easier to put the glue on the wood than it is to put it on the penny and set it down. So I basically am just going to glue systematically down my letters so that I can see exactly where they go, because they're tight. They fit well onto the letter. You're going to find that you get little strands, tails of glue. I would not, whoops, see, I almost did it wrong. They are not to be worried about. I'm told that a crafter's trick is to use a hair dryer on those at the end, and they will kind of shrivel up. I'm the kind of person who just kind of pulls those little tails off when I'm all done. I work with seniors. We make a lot of projects like this. We do all of hot gluing ourselves, but we also use a fair amount of tacky glue, which they can use. But I think for these pennies, because they are weighted, you should not shy away from using your glue gun. All right, so there's our L. Put this aside. Getting ready to do our U. I have a wallet that my mother gave me. My mother's in a home now. We can't even talk about it. But the wallet is precious to me. I'm going to be carrying that wallet long after it wears out. And my mother had put a penny in it for me. And then I read that you should always carry money in your wallet that you don't spend, that is there to draw the money. So I carry a $50 bill. I've been carrying it for 10 years and I never take it out. I leave it in there so that the wallet is never empty. And I think that that's important to think about because a lot of people don't carry cash anymore. They only carry their cards. And I understand that cards are representative of money, but they're not money. And you might want to throw a $5 in your wallet, even if you don't carry cash, so that you're always pulling money into your wallet. This is so reminiscent of Irish tradition. They would have a leprechaun, and of course what the leprechaun would have that could be yours if you caught him is his pot of gold. And your gnome is holding a 3-leaf clover, the shamrock, which again is symbolic of good luck. If you can find a 3-leaf clover, that's supposed to bring you good luck. I love folklore. I don't think we should be superstitious to the point of being crazy, but I do love folklore, and I love all these things that we learn as we approach a seasonal craft. So this is a really fun one. So there are our letters. Everything is covered in money. We have a gnome. Whose magnet fits right in, that you can put into your stand. You have your base. I'm going to work backwards. This would be L. So voila, we've got them in, and I want to show you your lights. I call these fairy lights. And again, I'm excited that you got some fairy lights. They are wound around themselves. They're coiled and wound around. So you're going to be uncoiling them. And I just want to show you the mechanism that turns them on. Anytime you buy a light, you know, even the little tea lights that are on battery, you're going to pull that little tab out. That's what allows it to turn on and connect. And then you have a button. These lights are great because they are going to strobe fast, strobe slow, or remain lit. And that can be your choice. So I would start on one end and wind. I'm not going to knock this around because I'm still trying to keep this intact for the video. You're going to wind it around. You're lucky. I'm going to turn these off. And I would suggest putting this somewhere where the good energy in your home can hit it so that it brings in good luck. I wish you good luck. I hope you believe in the wee folk because I think they're a lot of fun. Whether you believe in gnomes or leprechauns, I just wish you the happiest of this season. Thanks. This is White Acres, and it's in the box.